Bees swarm Berlin, where beekeeping is booming. Welcome back to our hive for some more questions and answers, common questions and answers. We'll talk more about that beekeeping and swarming in Berlin. Today's question is, do bees ever make trouble in a city? This is a good question, and a follow-up to yesterday's about where can you keep bees. Focus here. So, yesterday we talked about where you keep bees, and there are very few places that you can't keep bees, is what we decided yesterday. But today is, do bees ever make trouble in the city? Well, according to the answers that we have here, it says it's very seldom that bees make trouble of any sort in a town or a city. And if the beekeeper is careful, there need be none at all. We advise placing hives in the backyard as far away as possible from the general highway. It is true that in some cases city councils have attempted to pass ordinances declaring bees to be a nuisance, but no such ordinance is constitutional, as the Supreme Court of Arkansas, in what is known as the Arkadelphia case, has decided that bees are not a nuisance per se. But this book was written a long time ago. We have seen here locally in Kansas, the city of Wichita, I think, had over 200 swarms this year. So it's a large city, but there are a lot of beekeepers. Many problems that come from having bees in a city are usually, well, swarming in the spring, but that's usually not a problem because there's lots of people who want those bees. But then bees get into people's homes and attics and trees and things like that. This article that I started out with is from August 11th, 2019. This was about the time that we were trying to figure out if we wanted to stay here in Kansas or go to Berlin to be a swarm catcher in the city of Berlin. This is the New York Times. The title is Bee Swarm in Berlin. Here's the article. They go to the rescue when others would flee. They are the Swarmfänger, Berlin's 30 or so swarm catchers on call to collect honeybees by the thousands when they gather where people do not want them. This year, the Swarmfängers have been very busy. While much of the Western world is worried about bees dying off, Berlin and other big German cities have the opposite problem. They have too many hives because of the rising popularity of urban beekeeping. Shoppers at Berlin's finer organic stores and public markets are increasingly seeing locally grown honey for sale. It's quite hip at the moment. People put up a hive on their balcony somewhere and they think they're doing something for nature. Many newcomers to beekeeping mistakenly see it as a fairly easy hobby, when in reality they have neither the knowledge nor the time for it. Like anyone who gets fed up with a lousy landlord, the bees leave, turning up in seething clumps under eaves, on lampposts and backyards, and the call goes out for someone like the bee catchers in Berlin. Berlin has more than 20 hives per square mile of registered beekeepers. So in Kansas, depending on the city, you have to register that you have hives or not, but that's a lot. 20 hives per square mile is a lot. Square mile, 640 acres. If that was all blooming, all 640 acres was all blooming in a crop, say like a sunflower crop, you could use 640 hives in that square mile. But here we're talking about the city of Berlin. How many blooms do you think would be in a section, in a square mile? Probably not enough for 20 beehives. We have too many people who keep bees who don't do enough for their bees. The rest of Germany has fewer than 6 registered hives per mile, short of the number it would have for agricultural needs. Interesting, huh? So, yeah, do they cause trouble? I think it depends on the management and the placement. Water is a huge, huge deal. So, if you're going to have honeybees in a city, you probably want to have the pool, the largest pool in your block, and not your neighbor, or dog bowls and things like that. So, anyways, just following up from yesterday, if you want to keep bees, you should do it. I will tell you though that out of all the locations that we manage bees, we do have 5 locations that are in the suburbs where the city is encroaching, and we do produce less honey in those hives, um, mainly because we see less and less blooms um, compared to where we have them out in the on farms and prairies. So, if you have any questions, let me know. By the way, our school is starting tomorrow. Um, you can join our school on a monthly or an annual basis. We'll be going through the whole year talking about bees. We'll do these same questions as long as we can, but we will have dedicated longer segments on specifically how to deal with bees. And then in the spring, we're going to talk about plants. So to join that school, go to school.com/Napa Bees. School spelled SKOOL. School.com/Napa Bees. I'll put it in the comments. Also, you follow us on Facebook. Facebook, we are Napa Bees. Instagram, we are also Napa Bees. NAPABEES. Look forward to seeing you on all of this stuff. So, thanks again for watching.